Have you ever noticed this really quiet, sort of strange thing about money?
Oh, I think about this all the time.
Cool.
What exactly are you looking at?
Well, you look around and you see someone lose their job, right? Like a massive blow to their life.
Yeah, a total shock.
Right. And somehow they still sleep perfectly fine that night. They just roll with it.
They really do. It is wild to watch.
It is. But then you look at someone else, maybe even yourself, Someone who just got a raise, a truly good raise.
Right, more money coming in.
Exactly. More money. And yet they feel like completely broke just 3 days later.
Yes, it is a profound split in how we live. I mean, the math changes, right? The numbers go up.
But the feeling does not change at all.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
feeling in the room stays exactly the same.
That is the part that just fascinates me. I mean, doing this deep dive today, I really want to unpack this because it feels so hidden.
It does. It feels like a secret shame, honestly.
Yes, a secret shame. I have been wondering about this a lot lately, just observing my own habits and the people around me.
It is everywhere once you start looking.
It really is. And if you are listening to this, you know that physical feeling, right? It is not just in your head.
Oh, not at all. It is a very real physical response in the body.
Right. It is that tight chest, like when a normal, fully expected bill arrives in the mail.
Even when you know for a fact that there's enough money in the bank to cover it.
Exactly. You know you can pay it, but you still get that tight chest. Or think about that reflex, that automatic habit.
Which one?
Like when you are walking down the store aisle and you just reach for the bottom shelf
Oh, yeah.
every single time. Right. You buy the cheapest option without even thinking about it. You do not look at the quality.
You do not even ask if it will last longer.
No, you just grab the cheap one because cheap feels safe.
Cheap feels like survival.
Wow, yeah, survival. And then there is that strange, heavy guilt that just ruins the mood right after you buy something nice for yourself.
Oh, the buyer's remorse. But it is more than just remorse. It is this heavy guilt.
It really is. It just sits on you.
And that tight chest, that guilt, it is something so many of us carry every single day.
We really do.
We walk around assuming we are just, naturally anxious people.
Mm.
We think it is a permanent flaw in who we are.
Like we are just broken somehow.
Right. But the real relief here, the thing I want you to hear, if you are listening, is knowing that it is not some built-in trait.
It is not.
No. What you are describing is a learned pattern. It is a deeply worn groove in the mind.
A learned pattern. Okay.
Yeah. We often call it a mindset of scarcity, or, on the flip side, abundance. And the most striking thing is how early this starts.
Really? Like how early are we talking?
I mean, the paint dries on this canvas so fast. This pattern was built and locked into place long before you were even old enough to have your own bank account.
Wow. So before we even know what money is, we already have a money mindset.
Exactly. It is already running the show.
Which means, that means we are fighting a ghost we did not even know was in the room.
That is a great way to put it. A ghost in the room.
We sit with this tension, right? Quietly sweating before payday. Or getting annoyed when our partner suggests a simple weekend trip.
Because the ghost tells you it is dangerous.
Right. And we sit there thinking we are the only ones who feel this panic.
And because no one ever teaches us how to look at money in school, we just assume that feeling of dread is totally normal.
We just think everyone feels sick when they spend $20.
Exactly. It becomes the lens through which we view every single dollar that comes in and goes out. It colors every choice we make.
I always assumed this mindset, this deep fear of spending, was just the hangover of growing up poor.
Yeah. A lot of people think that.
Because, the logic seems simple enough. If there was zero money in the house when you were a kid, of course you grew up terrified to spend.
Right. It makes sense on paper.
You hold on tight because you remember being cold. You remember the fridge being empty. But if I am hearing you right, that is not the whole picture.
Not at all. That is actually one of the biggest myths we tell ourselves about money.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, it is so easy to think the actual number on your parents' paycheck dictates your money fears today. But the truth is, the dollar amount matters far less than the emotional tone that lived in your house.
The emotional... Wait, so you mean it is not the actual bank statements the kids are seeing?
No, kids do not read bank statements.
Right. It is the way the parents breathe when they open the mail.
Yes, exactly. It is about the feeling in the air.
Okay, I think I get that.
You can have a family with a very modest income, barely making enough to cover the month, but they raise a child with a rock-solid, calm sense of abundance.
Because the parents stay calm.
Right. And then you can have a comfortable middle-class family making good money who raise a child that panics every single time a dollar leaves their wallet.
Oh, wow, a middle-class trap.
Yes, the middle class trap.
Because in that spot, you have just enough to lose.
It is a really tricky in-between zone. The middle class childhood can actually breed intense scarcity.
How does that happen, though, if they have enough for the basics?
Because there is usually enough for the basic needs, sure. There might even be enough for a nice dinner out, or maybe a simple summer trip.
Right, the stuff that makes you look fine on the outside.
Exactly. But there is rarely enough to feel truly secure.
Ah, I see.
There's always this background hum of stress.
The family is constantly calculating.
Externally.
I remember that feeling, always comparing yourself to the neighbors, right? Always aware that you are just one broken car or one surprise expense away from real tension.
And children pick up on that faster than anyone.
They really do, because, I mean, a 6-year-old child does not know what an interest rate is.
No, not at all.
They do not care about the monthly budget. They do not know what debt is.
But they deeply absorb the calculating.
Yeah, they absorb the worry.
They feel the heavy sighs at the kitchen table. They hear those tense whispers behind closed doors after bedtime.
Oh, those whispers, the ones where the parents think the kids are asleep.
Right. And they watch their mother put an item back on the shelf with a look of quiet defeat.
That visual is so strong. Putting it back on the shelf.
And from all of that, they internalize a very clear message. They learn that money is a source of danger. Money is a source of pain.
It feels like they strap a heavy backpack on you when you are just 6 years old.
Yes, full of rocks.
Full of these heavy rocks, and you just get used to the weight over time. You don't even know you were wearing it.
But that chronic worry quietly drains your mental energy every single day.
It really does. If all your strength goes into just carrying the backpack, you have zero power left to look up at the horizon.
You just stare at your shoes.
Exactly. You make choices just to survive the next step, rather than planning for a beautiful hike. And staring at your shoes, I mean, that leads to short-term choices that actually make things worse.
It really does. And those rocks in the backpack, they're often the exact phrases we heard growing up.
Oh, the phrases? Like what?
They become these invisible scripts running our adult lives. You hear things like, "We cannot afford that," or "Money does not grow on trees."
Over and over again. We cannot afford that.
Right. And now you are in your 30s, your 40s, maybe your 50s, and that same script is still playing on a loop. Loudly.
Even if your current salary is fantastic.
Even if you are making great money.
I see this so clearly in a friend of mine. Let's just call her Sarah.
Okay, tell me about Sarah.
So she grew up in a classic middle-class home in Ohio. Her parents never yelled, but they argued quietly about bills after she went to bed.
Those hushed whispers again.
Exactly. She was supposed to be asleep, but she heard the tension right through the drywall, the muffled tones of panic.
Kids hear everything.
They do. And today, Sarah is in her late 20s. She has a great job, a really good salary, but she cannot check her bank balance without her stomach tying into hard knots.
Because for her mind, opening that bank app feels exactly like opening her childhood bedroom door.
Wow.
It feels like stepping right into the middle of that late-night argument. The brain does not know the difference between the app and the past.
It is wild. She is just trying to control her present to fix her past, like she hoards coupons.
Really? Even with a good salary.
Yes. Not because she actually needs to save $1 on bread, but out of this desperate need for control.
She is just seeking safety.
Right. And she told me her real breakthrough happened when she finally stopped looking at her current budget and she looked backward instead.
That is a brave thing to do.
It was huge for her. She realized she was still living inside those tense late-night arguments. The fear she felt every Tuesday at the grocery store, it wasn't even hers.
It was an echo of her parents' fear.
Exactly. An echo.
That echo is so loud for so many people. And what is really fascinating is how it shows up in completely different flavors, too.
What do you mean, like different habits?
Yeah, it is not always coupon hoarding. Think about another side of the same coin. A guy I know named Michael from Texas.
Okay. What was his deal?
Well, in his house growing up, there were no fights about money. None at all.
So it was calm.
No, there was just total silence.
Oh. The silent treatment. So money was treated like a dirty word.
A total taboo. You just did not talk about it. If a bill came in the mail, it was quietly hidden away in a drawer.
Just out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. And because he never saw money handled openly, he learned to freeze.
He froze.
Yes. He reached his mid-30s having never understood his retirement account. He hid from his budget. He never talked about money with his wife.
Pure frozen avoidance.
Total avoidance.
Because if you do not look at the monster, maybe the monster will not eat you.
That is the survival instinct talking. Avoidance feels like safety in the moment.
But long term, it is a disaster.
Oh, he was slowly ruining his marriage. His turning point only came when his 8-year-old daughter asked for a specific toy at the store.
Oh, kids always do that. What happened?
In that moment, he felt a huge wave of panic, and he realized he could not give her an honest answer about why they could not buy it.
Without passing on his own deep money anxiety.
Right. He looked at her, standing there in the aisle, and he saw the cycle repeating. He saw the backpack being handed down.
Wow. That is a heavy moment. Realizing you are holding the straps of the backpack, just ready to put it on your own, kid.
It changes you when you see it that clearly.
I bet. And, thinking about that backpack, I guess the rocks inside it must feel different depending on how steep the hill is.
How so?
Like the fear I had at 25 when I was single and renting a tiny room that feels very different from the fear at 40 with a family and a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. The stakes change, and so the fear shape shifts. We can see this pattern clearly as we move through the seasons of life.
Okay, let's walk through those seasons.
Sure. Think about that foundation stage, the late 20s and early 30s. This is where your first real income starts rolling in.
And if you have a scarcity mindset, this is where you start trying to buy your way out of the anxiety.
Bingo.
You get a raise, and suddenly you need a better car, you need nicer clothes. Lifestyle inflation quietly eats every single extra dollar.
Because you are trying to soothe a nervous system that feels constantly unsafe. You buy things to feel secure.
Or, you do the opposite.
Hoard it all.
Yeah, you hoard the money in fear, refusing to enjoy a single dime of your youth.
Right. And either way, the money habits you lock in during those early years, they will compound for decades.
And then you hit the pressure cooker.
Ah, yes. The late 30s to mid-40s.
This is where I see so many people just looking exhausted. They're juggling family needs, maybe taking care of aging parents.
And the EMI pressure just sits right on their chest.
Yeah.
The home loan, the car debt.
It is heavy. This is the stage where you just feel stuck on a plateau.
You work so hard. You put in the long hours. But the dial on your net worth does not seem to move at all.
You pay the bills, and the money is gone.
And the scarcity mindset here is a loud voice telling you that you will never, ever catch up. You start to believe that struggle is just your permanent identity.
Which sets the stage for the correction years. Late 40s into the 50s.
The scary years.
And this one seems like a cruel joke, honestly, because this is often when people are earning the highest salary of their whole life.
Right, the peak earning years.
But the mountain is running out of trail. The retirement fear just creeps in. You worry it will all just run out.
And the real danger here is that this scarcity mindset rarely travels alone.
What do you mean by that?
It travels with a very rough crowd of real-world risks. If you are operating from deep fear, you make choices that keep you living paycheck to paycheck.
So the mindset creates the reality.
Yes, scarcity mindset walks hand in hand with carrying high debt across multiple credit cards. Because you use debt to buy temporary relief from stress.
That makes total sense. Or you keep zero emergency fund.
Right, because you feel like saving is useless anyway.
So one broken car engine or one unexpected medical bill becomes a total disaster that sets you back 3 years.
And all the while, you are keeping all your cash in a basic account, too afraid of the stock market to make a real investment.
Just quietly losing your buying power to inflation year after year.
Exactly. The fear of losing money actually guarantees that you lose money.
But hold on, let me just stop you right there.
Okay, sure.
Because I can hear someone listening right now, maybe in their car, saying, wait, if I am skipping the expensive shoes and keeping my cash safe instead of risking it, aren't I just being smart?
That is a very fair question.
Where is the line between being frugal and just being terrified?
That is the core question we all have to answer for ourselves. Because the action might look exactly the same on paper.
Right. Both people skip buying the shoes.
But the difference is the feeling behind the wheel. Healthy budgeting, being truly careful with your money, is rooted in calm.
Calm, not panic.
Right. It is intentional. You make a plan for the month and you follow it with a deep sense of peace.
So the frugal person looks at the expensive shoes and says, I could buy these, but I choose my long-term goal instead, and they feel strong about it.
Yes, they feel empowered. While scarcity is driven by pure fear. The scarcity person looks at the shoes and feels a pang of panic, a tightening in the throat.
They walk away feeling deprived, like they were missing out, unsafe, even bitter.
Exactly. Outwardly, both people skip the purchase. But the calm person is building wealth. The scarcity person is just surviving a threat.
Fear versus peace.
Fear versus peace. That is the whole game.
Which, brings up a genuine mystery for me.
What is that?
We talked about how the emotional tone in the house creates this fear, right?
Yeah.
But what about the people who grew up with real severe grinding hardship? I know people who grew up with absolutely nothing, skipping meals, and yet today they have incredibly calm, abundant mindsets.
That is a beautiful paradox.
If the lack of money causes the fear, how did they escape the trap?
Because they learned a different emotional pattern. In those homes, the real raw struggle was met with calm problem solving.
Calm problem solving. So they talked about it.
Yes, it was met with open talking. The
Yeah.
parents might have sat the kids down and said, things are very tight this month. We cannot buy extra things, but we have a plan. We love each other and we are safe.
Wow. They did not hide the truth, but they also did not let the panic take over the house.
Precisely. They modeled emotional regulation for their kids. So the child learned that a lack of money is just a math problem to solve.
It is not a monster under the bed.
It is not a reflection of their worth. This cements the whole truth of how we deal with money. Your relationship with your finances is almost entirely about the emotional pattern you learn.
Because the math is just numbers on a screen.
Right. Mindset is the lens that colors your entire life.
So if we have been wearing these colored glasses since we were 6 years old, taking them off feels like a massive task.
It can feel overwhelming, sure.
I do not want to just give a stressful checklist of 10 things to do before breakfast. If someone is listening right now and their chest is tight, how do we gently retrain the mind?
We do it softly. Small, gentle habits that prove to your brain that you are safe.
You do not overhaul your whole life in a day.
No, never. The first habit is something very small. We call it the 2-minute calm check.
2 minutes a day.
Just 2 minutes. You open your bank app and you just look at the numbers. You do not pay a bill. You do not judge yourself. You do not try to fix anything. You just look the exact same way you look at the weather forecast.
Oh, I like that. No judgment.
I know a woman named Jennifer who used this exact method. She was so terrified of her bank app, she would delete it from her phone entirely.
She deleted it. Wow.
Yes, but she forced herself to just open it for 2 minutes a day while drinking her morning tea.
Just looking without the guilt.
It softened her daily dread so much that within a month, her heart stopped racing when the app loaded.
That is huge progress.
It was. And because she was no longer in fight or flight mode, she finally felt safe enough to build a real saving target.
That is brilliant. You're just taking the sting out of the habit.
Exactly. Just making it normal.
I also think about the words we use. Language matters so much when we are trying to soothe the mind.
It really does. Words have power.
Like the term emergency fund. Calling it an emergency fund almost invites panic, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels like you are sitting around just waiting for a disaster to strike.
What if we just renamed it a peace of mind fund?
That simple shift in language changes everything.
Hmm.
Our brains listen closely to the words we say out loud.
So true.
If you call it a peace of mind fund, you are saving money to buy yourself calm. You are buying a good night of sleep.
Yes. Or shifting the way we talk about spending. When you say, I cannot afford that, you become powerless.
The money's the boss and you are the victim.
Right. But if you shift that phrase to, I am choosing not to spend on that right now, it completely changes the power dynamic.
You are in control. You have the power to choose.
And part of being in control, and I think this is crucial for the scarcity mind, is allowing yourself to actually feel joy.
Yes, this is a big step. Guilt-free spending.
Which sounds completely impossible for someone whose chest tightens at the grocery store. Tell me how you actually do that without panicking.
It feels scary at first, but it is vital. You have to plan a small purchase purely for joy. It does not have to be huge. A nice coffee at a cafe, a new book you have wanted, a simple treat. You put it in the budget, you buy it, and you absolutely refuse to feel guilty about it.
Because if you do not let the steam out, the pot boils over.
Exactly. This teaches your brain that spending money is not a mortal danger.
Right. The world keeps spinning.
It proves that you can spend, and the sky will not fall. If you do not do this, you fall into a terrible cycle of extreme restriction.
You hold on so tight for so long that eventually your willpower snaps.
And it always ends in a massive damaging impulse buy later.
It is like holding your breath underwater. You can only do it for so long. Eventually, you have to gasp for air, and you end up swallowing half the lake.
That is the perfect way to picture it. Swallowing half the lake. Just give yourself permission to breathe normally.
Just breathe normally.
And all of these gentle habits, checking the app calmly, changing your words, Buying the small joy, they add up to a major shift in how you see yourself.
You move away from that heavy shame-based talk like, I'm just bad with money.
Right. You start saying, I am someone who is building better money habits.
It takes the shame right out of the
Mhm.
room. I
I
love
know.
that. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with a thought to hold on to.
A final thought for the road.
Yes, your financial future isn't a destination you just magically arrive at one day. It is a direction you choose every single day with every small choice. I want you to quietly reflect on the money script currently running in your head. Ask yourself, who wrote that script? And more importantly, what would your life look like? How would your chest feel if you simply chose to rewrite it today?
These thoughts, these questions, they don't have to stop here. Money Geeks has many more podcasts and videos just like this one. Subscribe to the channel and explore other episodes. They all flow the same honest way. If this podcast felt genuinely useful to you, share it with even one person in your life. That one share can bring a real change in someone's life, and it helps Money Geeks reach more people who truly need this. If this brought you real value, look for the Join button right next to the Money Geeks logo below this video. Click it and become a member of the Money Support Circle. Your support helps honest money awareness reach thousands who are silently struggling. Money Geeks moves forward because of you. Thank you so much from the heart for being here.